I don't know who needs to hear this, but ladies, don't go through that man's phone this weekend. I don't care how tempted you are. I don't care if you got an itch for it. Leave that man's phone alone. Because you go through the phone, you find what you find, and you stay. So if you're not leaving, what's all the drama for? You might as well keep your hands off the phone and keep your peace. And what do you think is supposed to happen when you go through the phone? Do you think he's going to have changed behavior? Of course not. Because he was okay with doing whatever he was doing in that phone. That's why he did it. So if you really want to see what kind of man you got and how he moving, let me tell you what you should do. Get dressed up. And I mean like first date trying to impress him dressed up. Put your good wig on. Get your makeup done if you can afford it. Put that one outfit on, and you know the outfit I'm talking about. Put the best perfume you got on in the house. And make plans without him and go on outside. Just go on outside and be gone for a long time. And let me tell you what else you're supposed to do. Leave your phone at home. Be unreachable. And make sure somehow in a strategic way he knows that your phone is not with you and he cannot reach you. You do this, let me know how it works out. You ain't gonna have to.
First of all, baby, you got to get your smoke detector because the batteries is going out, and I keep hearing it throughout the video, and that's starting to bother me a little bit because it shows me that women aren't really built to be by themselves because they pour with the metal with the smoke detector in the back. And when I say pour, I'm not even necessarily just talking about financially. I'm talking about how it is that they live their life. You can't be giving advice with the smoke detector going off in the background. That's number one. Number two, what is all of these games that these people are playing? You are adults. What are all of these games? If you even feel the need to have to go through somebody's phone, because I don't even care. My phone is left out on a regular basis. Not only is my phone left out on a regular basis, I also have my code. You can have my code too. And it ain't necessarily that I'm giving you my code so that, it makes you feel more secure. I'm giving you my code because it's easier for you to go and get the things that I need out of my phone, or if I'm over here or whatever. It's just really a matter of convenience. And then more importantly, the way my whole life is set up, it's to protect me. And the person that's next to me is the person that I trust the most. That's the most important financial decision that you're ever going to make in your life. It's the most important mental health decision that you're ever going to make in your life. I have an entire spreadsheet, a Google document that lays out every single password, where every account is, what to do exactly if anything was to ever happen to me. It's long. It's probably about 100 entries long as far as the amount of accounts with bills, whatever, right? To the insurance company, passwords, and there's literally a username and password for every single one, even to the small stuff, including the Netflix account and stuff like that, right? But here's the key. Ironically enough, my girl does not follow me on Find My, but my daughter and her, they make sure that I know where they are. And it's not that they can't get my Find My or anything like that. It's more or less because they don't feel like they need it, because we know how to communicate. And that's what adults do, right? If they ever needed it, or if I've ever felt like I needed to give it to them, as far as, hey, I'm about to be over here, or we go out of town or whatever, if anything ever happens to me or such, so on and so forth, then I'll do that. But it's not important because that's what adults do. Children play games and they get advice like this. Listen, if you feel a need to ever have to go through somebody else's phone, then that's probably a conversation that you need to have about your insecurity, not theirs. That's A. B, if you go looking for something, you're going to train yourself to be upset or condition yourself to always be looking at or for something wrong in the first place. C, if you get dressed up just to try to figure out or trying to prove what type of person that you with, then you are going to be for the streets by yourself. You're going to be by yourself. If you're doing all of this dressing up to prove a point versus doing all of this dressing up on a regular basis, because, see, I believe that the dating starts after you get married. And this is the sign of a mature adult, right? Dating starts after you get married. So I want your best and I want your effort, not to prove or try to figure out if something is going on, but to try to showcase the greatness of what it is that I have, so that the dating process then yields better results because it means that you're putting in effort into the relationship, not effort in to try to prove something is wrong with the relationship. And so these are childlike behaviors. I don't know who this woman is. You guys sent me the video. I'm going to put a link inside of the bio for you guys, just to give credit for the content, because I always like to give content creators credit, regardless of if I'm reacting to it in a positive way or a negative way, because I don't know what I'm going to react to or what's going to happen, but I always like to give credit. But this is childlike behavior. And why are you going through people's phones without them knowing about it in the first place? It's silly. Go get dressed up, put on all of the perfume, leave your phone at home. Listen, I'm not going through your phone if you leave it at home. I'm not trying to figure out where you at. Just make sure that you get all your stuff when you come back, because the bigger message that I'm going to send to you is that I don't have time for games. And apparently these are games that people that are just in a relationship. And see, that's why I don't believe in, in relationships. Either you're single or you're married. Meaning that if you're doing all of this, then these are things that I should have picked up on and red flags that I should have identified before we ever got married. And I don't believe in shacking up. Shoot, I'm of the impression that you should have multiple different homes that you guys can stay at based off of convenience of where you at or what you're doing at that time. I don't have the same problems as everybody else. I don't have people trying to check and see, or wondering if I'm going out of town by myself or any of that type of stuff. That's silly. That's for children, and children do children like stuff. And when you become an adult, you put that junk away. And so stop taking advice from these people just because she may be cute, or they talking real nice and all of this stuff. This is silly. This is all games. I'm wondering how old the target audience is that she's listening to, because if you have women that's taking advice like this is why it's very, very difficult for me to recommend women take advice from other women, whether you're in a relationship or not, because this women that's in relationships that's playing these games and running these dudes through these hoops, and these dudes is losing brain cells, and life is diminishing, and they actually, gotta simp out for this dumb stuff, and they be taking advice from other single women and stuff and doing TikTok challenges. Man, I ain't got time for that, bro. You can keep it moving. Listen, if this is what you want to do, then I'm not the man for you. That's my advice to the fellas that are then dealing with women that's putting on these games and these charades and leaving a phone at home and stuff like that. Because you leaving your phone at home means that you're trying to prove a point. If you think that you're going to train me and then I'm going to get in line once you leave your phone at home and you dressed up because you want to leave it to my imagination what the possibilities are, that means that you need to be by yourself. Go and get your stuff, pack it up, make sure you leave all of the cards and the stuff that you came with, right? Take that with you, and the stuff that you didn't come with, the stuff that you adopted as you came into this thing, make sure you leave it on the counter, and then keep it moving. And so once she lose a real one, or she lose a good one, then she's gonna be trained a little bit differently for the next person that she get in relationships with. And stop going back to these chicks, bro. Don't go back to women that you walked away from, because then you just reinforcing bad behavior, and it starts to make them think that they can do stuff that they gonna get away with versus being held accountable for their actions. And all you doing is setting them up for the next dude that's gonna have to suffer through the trauma, because it's gonna be a simp that comes through and pick up the pieces after you left her. So, man, listen, no games, no problems going forward. If we gonna do this, and we gonna do it in honesty and truth, we gonna be transparent before we get into it, and you're gonna accept the terms. And the terms is gonna change, because as we grow and as we evolve, we gonna become different people, and we gonna continue to be transparent with what it is that we expect from the other person, or how we gonna be moving. And it's no problem with that, especially if you don't even have children. But all of these games that y'all keep playing, y'all can go ahead and keep them to yourself, because guys, or at least my guys, they ain't got time for that. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Just dropped a video over this weekend. Make sure that you're getting that Tej Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And don't subject yourself to this nonsense. These are high school-like games, not for adults.